yes, 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 yes. I'm a big weirdo. I'm a big weirdo. Yes, 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 yes. I'm a super total weeb. I'm a super total weeb. I'm a cosplay inspector, an autograph collector, a franchise dissector, a merchandise detector. I brought my tent to be first in line. Crowdfund investor, love of adventure. I'll finally meet every idol of mine. Franchise dissector, merchandise detector. Yes, 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 yes. You're a big weirdo. You're a big weirdo. Yes, 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 yes. Join this weird fandom with me. Join this weird fandom with me.
I may not be a 10, but I'm a natural 20. I was lonely back then, here I am one of many. I can't wait till the time when the weekdays are gone. Got a goal, don't wait up, heading straight to the con.
Yes, 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 yes. We're all big weirdos. We're all big weirdos. Yes, 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 yes. And we'll make this one a hit. We'll make this one a hit.
Testing, mic check. Cinnamon buns, cinnamon buns, cinnamon buns. Hello, friendos. My name is Nez, and we are once again back at it again for some more Monster Prom Sundays. As today, we're not gonna really be doing any gameplay because we've actually got some news. Some big, huge, humongous news about Monster Prom 5. Because we've had our the most recent Kickstarter update. Anyway, I decided not to do a gameplay stream today just because I knew I was gonna go into it with not a lot of sleep. Because I stayed up to watch Chainsaw Man earlier. Goddamn, I think the Resi arc probably overtakes everything else for me as my best animated film of the year. By far, K-pop Demon Hunters, move aside. JJK, Demon Slayer, move a fucking side. I think the Chainsaw Man Resi arc might be the best animated film of the year. It was cinema. It was peak. It was kino. It was cine. Where did I see this news? Kickstarter. It is on the public Kickstarter page for all of the Monster Prom sequels. It's always there. It's always been public. We usually don't discuss Kickstarter updates, but I decided Monster Prom 5. It has news about Monster Prom 5 and also other upcoming games that Beautiful Glitch may be working on, that also may want our opinion on. You missed my order for cinnamon buns? What's up, Venus? Hello, friendos. So anyway, that was my weekend. I watched Chainsaw Man. It was great. It was cinema. Also, I woke up to the tune of the Homestuck pilot apparently having already been out. With mixed reception, I wouldn't have it any other way. It wouldn't be a Homestuck pilot if it didn't have mixed receptions. That's Homestuck. So there is that. Anyway, with that said, I think we could get right into the thick of things. I will just pull up the page. You've been streaming more Date Everything and geeking over Knights of Guinevere. I still haven't gotten to that. I have so much shit on my backlog to do. I got Hades 2 to start. I just bought it yesterday. I'm probably gonna start it tomorrow. I don't know if I want to stream it. We streamed it last time. Excuse me, I burped. I don't know if I'm gonna stream Hades 2 again. I don't really know when I'll find the time to stream a whole Hades 2 run. I also got Knights of Guinevere to catch up on, plus a few other animated things I really want to get into watching. Digital Circus, I want to get into that, especially after Jesse did his reaction. His Am I Too Old for This reaction for Digital Circus. It finally had my interest peaked. How's my week been? It's been great. If you missed it, I watched Chainsaw Man Probably my animated movie of the year. Anyway, with that said, let's move on over to the big update. Big white screen flashbang warning if you're in the dark. In 3, 2, 1. There we go. Flashbang. You're sad because you think MonsterCon is the smallest game in the franchise? Personally, I think Road Trip is the smallest game in the franchise, but maybe that's because of the different nature of the progression and the gameplay of Road Trip. So anyway, we got news. We got big news. 50-second update. MonsterCon, Monster Prom 5, and other stuff we're exploring by Beautiful Glitch, the developer of Monster Prom. Hi everyone. We assume most of you know this already, but since the last update earlier this year on March, we released Monster Prom 4 MonsterCon G. They did? You can find the game over here. We sent keys to everyone who was eligible. I gave away my key. We're here to discuss what's next. Wanna join? Let's dive into it. MonsterCon's plan after the release. Not only have we released Monster Prom 4 MonsterCon, but we released some updates, including the guest Faith and Nanase and the artsy comic. These can constitute the most essential types of updates that we prepared. Guests and comics. There's one more guest to go. One more update guest. And 2 more comics to go for DLCs. Free DLCs. Although no dates are final as of now, we imagine the second comic being this year's winter update, and the third one being next year's summer update. Oh my god, can we get the beach? We gotta get the beach episode secret ending eventually. They should give us a beach episode comic. Give or take. Last guest could probably go on to next year's St. Valentine's or 1-year anniversary. One more guess. Sorry, D20 looks like you're not getting to use enroll for MonsterCon after all. There's some other spots we discussed. We may go with outfits. For Halloween, we thought of doing something simple. A free pack of 6 outfits for the 6 romance options. Ooh. With a nice twist of allowing you fans to decide what these outfits should be. They were asking that on Twitter. You should soon post about it, they did, and you could reply with your ideas. We imagine the most efficient way would be to turn these outfits into a new figurine within the mystery boxes. Hooray. Gotcha in my Monster Prom. Akin to the one that gives everyone fursuits for... Oh, okay, never mind. It's the actual in-game one. I thought they were actually doing physical mystery boxes. Okay, they're gonna put it in the gacha. Got it. Yifeng making all the money. We have a similar idea for somewhere next year. It's not the same, but it's something in the line with outfits for the romance options. There's one big dumb thing. It's not a bit of narrative thing like End of the Road. It's a silly, stupid thing that has quite the amount of art. A lot of art. So, It's super unsure when we'll release this one. We have this even smaller side project that would be relatively tied to this, but we don't know if we will be ending up working on it. If we do know, we'd like to maybe tie these 2 things together. If we don't, most of the work of the update is done, so we would just put it somewhere in the calendar. There's a big artsy update soon. Probably not the comic. So it's a different, smaller update. Finally, there's a possibility of crossovers and cameos! We're not saying this is something that will happen, but we acknowledge that we're always open to a possibility that will likely be implemented in whichever is the newest game. We had a couple ideas, but those are always highly uncertain as they depend on third parties out of our control. Can we get a Hades? Look, all I'm saying is... Melanoe! Look, all I'm saying is... I think the Hades Greek gods should count as monsters that we could probably try to bang. All I'm saying, put my man's Zagreus in the Monster Prom and We're gonna cause a lot of buy panic if we put both the siblings as dateable characters. They bundled with Date Everything. Date Everything has way too much of everything. There are way too many characters from there to even choose from. There's a literal Yeti that you could date in the game. He's your fridge. Those are highly uncertain as they depend on third parties out of our control. It's always better to assume there will be no crossover than be gladly surprised if something lands. Yeah, always assume there will be no crossover. Yeah, where's my Destiny collab in Arknights, man? I've been waiting years for that. It fell through. It doesn't exist anymore. Hello, Jackal. What did you miss? Not much. We just got started with reading Kickstarter update number 52 for the Monster Prom sequels. There's no plan for more DLCs. This could change, of course, but the overall notion is that the DLC's performance plummets as you get further from release date. That's why we've acquired the habit of always releasing 2 to 3 paid DLCs alongside the game. That is our playable characters. The performance is its peak here. Don't fret, obviously we make sure that whatever is offered as a paid DLC is something that wasn't ever considered as potentially part of the base game, like extra playable characters. The only exception that comes to mind other than unexpected crossovers is if we determine to do some free update or paid DLC to promote MONPROM 5 when the time comes again. Again, uncertain, but in sake of transparency we could say it's always a possibility. Leaving the room open for a second term. We haven't gotten a second term DLC, narrative DLC, since Monster Prom 1. Mainly because it doesn't really do well. Financially, it's not really that good for the game. They might as well make a whole ass new game if they're gonna put a ton of writing into a narrative DLC, which is why something like End of the Road for Road Trip was an anomaly. Ah yes, third uncertain possibility. Sometimes we have art collaborators who are without work and who'd appreciate to have something to work on, in case they don't have jobs collabs with other clients. If that's the case, we squeeze our heads a bit to create some side project they could be busy with, if they want. An example would be Colorful Campers Pack. Priorities always upcoming games, but you never know. Hello, Zala. What did you miss? Nothing just yet. We're just recapping the release of Monster Prom 4, MonsterCon, before we get into the actual news of MONPROM 5. Generally speaking, our strategy is to make post-release plans lighter. Something like End of the Road was an anomaly and it shouldn't be expected. I know many like this update, I cried. But think of it this way, it's a lot of time that could be utilized working on full new games. See, that's how much I'm in tune. That's how much I'm in tune with this game and this franchise. I can tell. That's exactly what I said. So let's move on to these new potential games. But before, let's tell you about the 1 year we usually take between projects. MonsterCon. 1 year of respite. Next one is the snow one. Many of you know this as Monster Retreat, although the name is not final. The game is in which Miranda and Vera face each other in a snowball war. Before discussing it, let's give you context on what we do once a game is released. Usually, we work for some time on post-release content, updates, and DLCs, but we're trying to improve our processes. This means both getting some of this ready before we even release the base game and reducing the amount of content as said before so we could focus on the next game. Still, as of late, we adopted the following calendar. We give ourselves 1 year of respite after the game releases. Okay, there might be some context needed on this one if you weren't here from the very beginning. Basically, all the Monster Prom sequels from 2 to 5 were originally supposed to be like 1 or 2 games. It's been split up into up to 5, up to Monster Prom 5. So there's been a lot of shaking of calendars in the development of these games. I still don't know if Monster Prom Reverse is still in the actual air for anything. They typically take 1 year off. This time is used in many ways. We first did this last time. Monster Road Trip was released in October 2022, and it was on October 2023 we went all in the production of Monster Con. It doesn't exactly mean we do nothing about the next game before. That date just marks when we go into full production. Before that, we do things like this. Post-release work for the game that was just released. Discussing what's next for the MONPROM games. Exploring new IPs. Games not related to Monster Prom. Working on non-game side projects. On that 1 year around 2023, we actually explored both 4 and 5, discussing for some time which one should go first. Well, I think the 4th one should come before the 5th one. I get it. Con or retreat first. This is what we're doing now. We've had close to 5 months of that year, 7 to go. Even if it will be around 2026, April, when we go into full production for MONPROM 5. We're still a ways out from the game actually starting development. You remember the trailer had Monster Retreat, Road Trip, and Camp in one game? Yeah, for the Kickstarter. This is what we're doing now. Even if it will be around April 2026, we go to full production. We've discussed a lot about it, plus working on both its narrative and art. Shall we discuss a bit about the current shape of Monster Prom 5? Yes. Here we go. Spoilers if, I don't know, if you don't want to see potential spoilers for Monster Prom 5. It's not like it's gonna come out next year. It's barely in existence. Ooh. Victory screen with Team Vera versus the other Snowball team. The basics of Monster Prom 5. Some of you may remember this one as the one that looked a bit like a tactics game. Some of you may even know that we decided to drop the idea many years ago. We did this Kickstarter on early 2019. It was just 1 year after releasing Monster Prom. We lacked experience, and so we dreamed of this sort of tactics game. We like this type of games, but soon after we realized that wasn't the way to go. Why? Because it's not the kind of stuff we know how to do. Could we learn? Sure. But we now understand that it makes more sense to move within a logic distance from the place where you started. For starters, you keep a logical distance not to alienate your own audience. Some of you may like tactics games. Some of you may prefer just fucking the monsters. If you... Okay, if you know, you know. But some porn and hentai games do be locking the good stuff behind some shittily made strategy tactics game that somehow needed to be tacked on just so that they could call it an actual video game. Motherfucker, you could have just made it a visual novel. So there's that. Subverse. But it's not given among all our audience, more importantly because you trust your area of expertise and move out there with caution. Monster Road Trip is a good example of cautious experimentation. It's a game that feels definitely different from our usual dating sim formula, yet close enough so we knew how to execute it properly. This is what we decided to do with Monster Prom 5. We keep the fantasy of recruiting people for a snowball war, while the game should work in its core as the franchise does, with narrative events where you choose between 2 options. Dang, if we only had 3 options instead, and maybe Northern Lion would play this franchise. If only we could choose between 3 options, then the bald man will finally give us notice. Let's do. So the current idea, which could change as it follows. Players choose a team between Vera or Miranda. They choose locations in a map as per usual. A map with 5 to 6 locations. Oh, feeling bold, are we, huh? Each location shows the icons of around 3 recruits each. What is this, Fire Emblem? Fuck me, it's Fire Emblem. A total of 15 recruits visible on the map. Once you choose a location, you choose a recruit. Ooh, interesting. This plays similar to Monster Road, in which you're essentially choosing a specific event. Just in choosing the recruit event, you are guaranteed to recruit the character. Options are once again tied to an increase-decrease of stats. We gotta have stats. We keep the stat exchange system from Road and Con. Yeah, we gotta keep the stats. Money, no longer a thing. We don't want to remind people of the grim realities of life. Recruits probably have an effect on stats. The war is won by whichever team has the most victory points. Most basic way of earning victory points is by being the team with the most of a certain stat. So if there's 5 stats, that's 5 victory points to be distributed. Every recruit has a series of traits. Oh my god, it's Persona. Closest reference could be Teamfight Tactics. Money's the easiest stat to look out for, probably another reason they removed it. Yeah, they can't be vague about money. But they can be vague about fun and maybe charm. It's like, choose between these 2 vague options. Which one gives me money? The one with the dollar bills at the end of it. If nothing changes, that would be the main trait, tied to formations and secondary traits. The main trait is tied to formations, which are usually of 3 recruits. A few are 2 or 4. If you recruit all characters from one formation, you could access a new specific requirement for your team to earn an extra victory point. So basically, formations are like, what do you call those? Set bonuses. Yeah, if you get a full set of certain characters, you get bonuses. At least that's the idea. Unsure if the victory point will be attained but just by forming the formation. We're unsure because we're currently recruiting someone. Because currently recruiting someone is rather easy unless other players block you. This is still very open for discussion. For instance, maybe you could get a victory point for getting a formation or another extra one for fulfilling the requirement. I don't know about all this math, dog. But sure. In the end, it probably won't be too hard. Also, completing a formation would probably unlock a special art of the 3 characters in the formation, big special art, or some sort of secret ending. Or MVP for the game. Okay, that's something to keep an eye out for. Formation secret endings, is that what we're gonna call it? Most likely, only players in a winning team will be eligible for date endings. Of course there will be dating. Can't be a Monster Prom game without the dating. We may be Monster Prom guys, but we came here for the monster fuckery. Still, the Snowball War itself is more of a rich narrative art result at the end. It's not its own game, but a visualization of the work done through the run. We want to make it cool and affected by your choices, but it's important to note the gameplay core is the usual of the franchise. Choose a location, play the events, choose between options. It's just that this time there's more strategic aspects into that, planning this sort of overall strategy, mostly through recruits and formations to ensure victory. This is a basic idea for the Snowball War of 2027, assuming it comes out in 2027. Is this the lost screen? Wait a minute. Wait. Oh, it's Oz and Brian. It's the lost screen. Oh no, the snakes are dead. Still, if we learned something with Monster Road Trip is that we should not overcomplicate stuff. We acknowledge some players may have been excited for an experience completely different to what the franchise is. We've seen that the majority of the audience obviously prefers experiences closer to what this franchise has always offered. Change is scary. That also informs the other half of the game, romance. We're bringing another system similar to Hitchhikers or Guests. We feel has been popular among you to offer a roster of potential dates. If anything, we feel that even if people enjoyed the novelty of Road Trip, many missed more focus in on romance, for the franchise started as a dating sim. For that reason, we're discussing ways to make this selection probably around 12. Like past times, monsters to receive love from us. We can't make tons of content for them, because it's not super feasible that there's several of them, and also another full half of the game that's about a different thing. Still, we managed, for many it could have more weight if instead of 1 or 2 events, these characters received the full plotline. Even if that's just a bit more content, 3 events, it usually means they feel more significant in being connected to the overall plot and theme. Chat, if you had to choose from all the existing Monster Prom characters that haven't received significant plot lines up to now, which ones would you like to see in Monster Prom 5? I, obviously, want to see more of Mamimi the Oni Girl, and my hands Feel the Eel. Where is Feel the Eel? This is going to be a half Miranda game, where we recruit Snowball warriors into the Snowball War. Feel the Eel should be joining Vera's team to take down the proletariat. Never mind. Take down the bourgeoisie. God damn it. I mixed it up. I'm a fake commie. Your wonder is, will Polly be back? Polly... probably as a side character, but I think Polly has received enough of representation throughout the franchise. Also, End of the Road kind of ended things off on a great narrative beat for the character of Polly. Zoe's pretty much the face of Monster Prom as of the moment after End of the Road. You want joy? You wanna bring joy? Okay, we could bring joy back. We could bring the entire coven back. She's not there twice. Yeah, that implies things. So our current approach is the game with 2 halves. A main core of recruiting NPCs for your team, and a secondary half focused on giving y'all some romance and plot lines with a selection of characters. So let's keep discussing Monster Prom 5, and let's focus on something a bit deeper. Let's discuss on a big challenge of Monster Prom 5. We get a hot spring scene. Can we get a hot spring scene with exposed the booba? That booba's breastily. This is probably like the conversations during lunch. I dig it. The many recruits of Monster Prom 5. We want to share with you a big consideration with Monster Prom 5. It is sort of close. Now, it's more of a light concern. It's an aspect of 5 that is potentially very exciting, but could also be a downside for some. Let's start with one that's close. It's no secret that while Camp and Con were quite more faithful to the original formula, Road Trip and 5 are the ones that can feel a bit more experimental. They try to do their own thing, so we gotta find a good balance between a respect for the formula and daring experimentation. Since 5 is about recruiting NPCs for a snow war, we knew that that would define the game as different from the rest. A lot of recruits. Numbers are not final, but we're going for 70 to... What? 70 to 80 recruits? Do we even have that many named characters in the franchise? I think we do, actually. Wait. We have decided most of them, and we can tell you it's such a smorgasbord of cool characters. What can you expect to find? 80 characters in Monster Prom 5 as recruits? Although, around only like, 12 of them will get... Yeah, around 12 of them will get full romantic plot lines as a baseline. What can you expect to find? Returning main characters, returning minor NPCs, fan favorite Principal Giant Spider, returning characters that didn't even have a model until this game. Wait a minute. Who are we talking about here? Who's a side character that's been mentioned in plot lines or events that people have latched onto that can finally get modeled in this game? Wait a minute. Brand new characters. We think this is super exciting and makes the game different from the other ones. Just between the last 2 types from that list, we're creating 20 to 30 new models for NPCs that have never had sprites before. Cool Josh is gonna get a sprite. Want the small magical Latino cat? Oh wait, one can be recruitable. Cool Josh is one of them. They could bring back the bear, but the bear has already had a sprite. The mascot can be... Oh, there's a shit ton of side characters, actually. Wait. What's the potential downside then? Because it's either quantity or characters or content per character. This huge amount of recruits means each one gets a very limited set of events. More specifically, each recruit has 2 events. They appear more because sometimes some appear in events tied to other recruits. Be ready to see some classic pairings and unexpected dynamics. Bring back the Prank Masters one last time. We need the Prank Masters back for one last run. I need my bozos. Wait, Cool Bob has a sprite? He's a pelican? Oh. Huh. Keep in mind the other half of the game means around a dozen romanceable characters, each one with a plotline. And that also takes space. It also means some of the recruits actually will have 5 events, 2 plus 3 events from their plotline. We're also discussing the return of conversations, which also takes place from the event count. Some may prefer the original formula where 6 characters get a lot of events each, but this is bound to be a game different from the rest, and the main idea is building a team, not just romancing one bangable person. It invites us to make a game that makes you feel like there's a big colorful cast, even if it means a few events for each of them. I'm down with that. I would actually prefer that. I would prefer that over 6 main romance options, because some of the a lot of the time 6 main romance options with a lot of events each does get a bit draining. It's like, I want to see side characters, I want to see world building. According to End of the Road, she was canonically killed off. Polly, narratively, she exited the game. More or less. But yeah, that'd be it. Oh, what is this? Is this during the Snowball War? Is that narrator? Is that the test sprite that they use for narrator? Kayla is gonna be here. Abdu is gonna be here. What's her name again? And oh wait, it's Stu and Wanda. Stu and Wanda are gonna be there. Dang. The Loch Ness Monster teacher. Other projects. So that's the stuff with Monster Prom 5. Other projects though. As explained before, we're using this year to explore new game ideas. Similar to what happened with MONPROM 5, we already started an exploration between 3 and 4. Back in 2022 and 2023, we worked on basic ideas for 4, 5, and other projects. Soon we want to reveal some of these ideas. Keep in mind we might end up working on none of them. Don't get our hopes high. Hopefully we will work on 1 or 2. Right now we have 6 to 7 game ideas we're exploring to circle them down 1 or 2. We want to see what our audience thinks. What do you think, chat? To maybe help us decide which ones we should focus on. What are these? We get energy drink waifus! Energy drink brand waifus! Original Wicked Energy, Icy Berry, Tropical Punch. Oh my god. It's Energy Drink Miku. Wanna know something you think would be fun? Have 5 recruits be spiritual successors to the Gossipers as elevated fan characters? Yes! Yes! Chips brand waifus. Chili hair, flame hair, idol diva waifu. And then a gremlin. They got different chip shape. What is this? Even if we will soon reveal them with a bit of proper art, let's tease y'all with one-liners on these projects. A game very similar to Monster Prom in being a dating sim, but the romance options are cosmic beings based on the 12 zodiac signs. Yo? A game similar to an Ace Attorney game. It'd focus on one case that would mix a fantasy setup with a mundane legal concept, other than murder, to offer a unique twist on the formula. Okay, maybe they did want to make an Ace Attorney type game with the amount of courtroom related events that we got in Con. Zodiac Thirst, teased via the mystery boxes. Oh yeah! Zodiac Thirst! A semi-idle game about getting pictures of cute cryptids. It sits on the corner of your screen while you use your PC for other stuff. Ooh! The lead artist already showed that they could go nuts with fan characters with the mass art fight attack that they did. More classic, choose your own adventure style visual novel. No stats, just choosing paths and seeing different branch stories. With very absurd humor and based entirely on the trolley problem. Yo, that'd be sick! Actually, I think that'd be sick. A visual novel centered on serving food and drinks to people while you get to know them better, like Valhalla and Coffee Talk. I love Valhalla. We're discussing a couple of different themes like supervillains, souls-like bosses, or Clussy 2? Is it time? Clussy 2? It is time. A narrative game where you are a new neighbor on a cute little village with a dark twist. In X weeks, there's a celebration where a neighbor gets chosen by voting who will be sacrificed. You're new in town, so you gotta gain the favor of your neighbors so that they don't vote for you. Ooh. It reminds me of that one visual novel where you play as the landlord of an apartment complex, and you're trying to kick out a yokai, but you don't know which one of your tenants is a yokai, so you have to interrogate them, investigation style. And by the end of a couple days, you have to choose a tenant to kick out. I forgot what that game was. I should really get into that. Something based on the trolley problem, beautiful glitch, collab with Cyanide and Happiness. A game where you have downloaded the latest cursed late capitalism software to your PC. A sexy VTuber-like avatar controlled by an AI created by a brand. You'll interact with this cursed waifu as she tries to make you devote yourself to the brand. Become the best client ever to please the brand waifu, or try to dismantle the dark plans of the big core. I feel like Monster Prom, the writers at Beautiful Glitch have succeeded in actually doing a lot of fourth wall breaking plot lines. They're very good with that. So I feel like that might be fun. Something like Needy Streamer. I feel like it'd be interesting if they take a game into that direction. Go full meta. Go full meta with it. What do you think? Any of these interest you? We're really unsure which one we would like to focus on. Some sound like they would have more potential, some sound like they will be easier to develop. We gotta find the right balance. So that's about the new projects. Really, to get to 6 to 7, we've gone through over 20 or so ideas that have been frozen for some time now. Some are most likely never seeing the light of day. Some others, we froze them because we believe we still don't have the experience, resources, or mastery to develop them. So who knows? Which one is this? Which concept is this art of? Definitely not Zodiac Thirst. Or maybe it is. Wait, that's a bird. Is there a bird Zodiac? We got cute animals. Could be any of these. There's more stuff we could talk about, but this update has gotten quite long and we gotta go back to work on projects themselves. An important thing we left out of the update is that we're also exploring non-video game side projects. What? We've seen some fans crave for more merch, so we're looking into that. No promises, we may end up creating more merch soon. We'll see. I would like Zeklusy body pillow. I would kindly ask for Zeklusy body pillow. As you may have observed, we moved to less updates per year. We deem it better given the circumstances. All rewards except the last 2 games have been distributed, and now we prefer to focus on working on the games. We highly recommend joining the official Discord where we interact in case you may have any sort of questions. And that be all. As per usual, we want to thank you immensely for your constant support, which made possible all this. We made a campaign to check if people would be excited for a sequel about Monster Prom, and here we are, working on the 5th. Imagine that. Best regards, Beautiful Glitch, a team. That one is meant to look like overdose needy streamer. I get it. The image is a trolley game? Oh my god. We're gonna be killing cute characters in the trolley problem game. Looking forward to what comes next. Okay, chat. Of these concepts, which piques your fancy? A game similar to Monster Prom as a dating sim with cosmic beings, basically Zodiac Thirst. A game similar to an Ace Attorney game that mixes fantasy with mundane legal stuff like murder. An idle game where you have cute cryptids. It's I don't know about the idle game. A classic choose your own adventure visual novel with absurd humor. A visual novel centered on serving drinks to people like Valhalla with different themes. Supervillains, Souls-like bosses, plussies. A narrative game where you're the new neighbor in a little village. That one got me. That one got me interested. But also, a game where you've downloaded the latest cursed late capitalism software. A VTuber avatar controlled by an AI for the brand. I feel like you guys can get very meta with that. I don't know. Maybe there's too much of that nowadays. I don't know. Zodiac Thirst seems the closest to what we're similar with the game. Let me... Whoops. Okay. I just reduced the size so we could get everything on screen. There. Serving food and drinks is the other one that sticks out the most. The game you might be sacrificed. You love all these projects, but we're unsure which one should be your second IP. What happened? What happened to that other games you guys were working on? Wasn't there another... Wait, did you guys release another game outside of Monster Prom already? Or am I tripping? Was I tripping? K-pop? No, I don't think that was that one. But I think they're also... If this is gonna be your second IP, there might be some expectations laid upon it. Maze Man! Yeah, Maze Man. That was a long time ago. Yeah, I was sure about that. I didn't get to play it though. I haven't found the time to play much games at all. We explored other projects in the past. Well, these are all basically visual novel adjacent. So they should have... If you're gonna try to convert Monster Prom players into any of these other concepts, it should be easy enough as long as the main element is narrative. K-pop Multiverse of Thirst. Yeah, that one. You did tease a K-pop one. A lot of these have been done before. But I feel like I do want to see a lot of the Beautiful Glitch twists on any of these genres of visual novels. what hasn't been done in a visual novel before? Because when Monster Prom first came out, the main hook was that it was the multiplayer dating sim. That was the big hook. I don't know if there were any bigger multiplayer dating sims before Monster Prom, but that was its biggest hook to why people latch onto it. You love visual novels? I love visual novels too, but there are subsets of the overall gaming community that doesn't consider visual novels to be games. I don't know, too much reading and literacy required? You want something that clicks with the existing audience, something that can appeal to other people too, something that is similar but not too similar. I think Monster Prom was the earliest multiplayer competitive dating sim. Yeah. Other innovations in like the visual novel genre was like there was the horror dating sim, even if it wasn't done for not the horror dating sim, the horror visual novel. There was that, even though like the letter, we played the letter, wasn't my jam. I get it. The big hook was it was a horror visual novel. There were definitely a lot of horror visual novels before that, but apparently that one was the one that got that reputation for some fucking reason. I don't know, maybe read some 2000 Japanese visual novels to get horror visual novels, please. VNs are story-based, so it would be a good idea if Glitch want to explore characters more in a lot of the world. Your hallmark at this point is irreverent humor. Carry that forward. I don't know. I don't know if the second IP should also be as irreverent as Monster Prom. I feel like it should carry a different vibe. I don't know. There's a lot of concepts I would love to see. The three main pillars of what you were doing were comedy and attraction. Maybe a bit less important, but multiplayer too. Yeah, that was that. a lot of crazy YouTube videos were created on the basis that we're gonna fight over these husbandos and waifus. We may not get them in the end, but we're gonna fight over them. Oh yeah, did you guys catch the Hollow live stream? I got it live with Gigi and Ollie. The most recent Hollow Live Monster Prom stream. That was crazy, dog. You met some of your best friends through the game? As long as it's funny, any direction should work, because everyone needs a good laugh. Point being, either way, it's funny. You've made friends based off of laughing at the jokes. I do think I want to see a darker, even if it's not fully serious and grim dark. I want to see it. Like we've seen the more serious plot lines in Monster Prom. We've seen End of the Road. We've seen the writing for a lot of the more serious secret events and endings. It's not just humor that Beautiful Glitch is very good at. So maybe a game more focused on that side, even if it also focuses on humor, might be a tip of the scale that becomes relevant. Yeah, it is challenging to do a wholly serious game. I'm not saying do a wholly serious game. I'm just saying you guys got the chops to get the tears flowing, to get the heart a-pumping. Not just through the libido, but through the heart, through the doki doki of, oh, this character is making me feel things. Oh, the Nico ending would be good proof of concept for an Ace Attorney-like game, but I feel like a parody would be too on the nose for an Ace Attorney-like game. But then again, how many Ace Attorney-like games have there been? Never mind, I just realized Danganronpa exists. Danganronpa is basically Ace Attorney, but unhinged. I was about to say crazy, but it included some creepypasta ideas and a few serious ones, but maybe for later. Your 2 votes, Zodiac Thirst and Ace Attorney set in a fantasy world. Fantasy world. Fantasy setup. A murder mystery in a fantasy world? Then there's also the visual novel serving food and drinks to people. Like Valhalla. That's also a good excuse for a lot of different characters. It's like it's like a shonen tournament arc, but in the service industry. You get to see so many different and crazy faces as you serve them their different drinks. And you get to interact with them through the stories that they tell. If you guys haven't played Valhalla, you should probably play Valhalla. You have a story for Zoe, but people might not like it. Ace Attorney-like games is strange. Yeah, Ace Attorney games are basically puzzle detective games, and they're only as good as how well the writers are at... I don't know. Because the problem with Ace Attorney games is that it doesn't feel like you're a detective. It just feels like you're playing through the motions of going through the visual novel, collecting all the things, but you don't really... The game leads you towards the answers that you need, but you never feel like you never really exercise any detective qualities while playing the game. Those detective-like games will test writers on whether they could actually write good mysteries, and they could write and create progression in a way where the player themselves feel like they're actual detectives instead of players playing a visual novel based on being a lawyer/detective. They also haven't made big numbers. They're very niche. Everyone has a story could be a good tagline. For the coffee, for the coffee's food serving food drink game. Yeah. Food service game could also provide good balance between comedy and seriousness. Yeah, there's also that. But also, the one I'm most intrigued about is the game where you downloaded the latest cursed late capitalism software. Just going by that line, it's probably gonna be on the nose, but I feel like there's a lot of potential there for something creepy. Also, I don't know. I'm gonna take a shot in the dark. Did Jesse give any concepts, throw any of them up in the air, and did any of them stick on this list? And would that most likely be the game where you downloaded latest cursed late capitalism software on your PC with a sexy VTuber avatar that tries to make you do things for a brand? Because that is definitely, of everything on this list, the last 2 ones give me Jesse Cox game vibes. Like, these are the types of games that Jesse Cox would play, which is also how he found Monster Prom years ago. How I first discovered the game when he first played it and discovered it. It's meant to be a bit on the nose, satirical, cursed late capitalism stuff. Because I feel like doing something meta and creepy with it might be an alley that I would love to see Beautiful Glitch go down a path on. But that's just me personally. Because I love me my meta games. Happy 10th anniversary to Undertale, by the way. Best to ever do it. It's a redemption story where Zoe helps people whose realms she has ruined. What do I think? Sounds great for a fanfic. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Imagine, and this is the groceries idea, unlocking more story if you make the drinks just right. The food drink service visual novel idea reminds you of a funny fanfic you read once. The dating sim fanfic is interesting. Zodiac Thirst. I'm not that familiar with Zodiacs. Astrology girlies, please enlighten me. How interesting would that actually be? Aside from just the base concept of, hey, the zodiac signs are now gijinkad and totally bangable. What's the underlying appeal of that aside from that? Okay. The zodiac signs are now bangable. And? Yes, and? You're an astrology girly? This could get very interesting indeed. I wouldn't know. Playing as a barista bartender sounds cool. Jesse supported you guys by being the champion for you, producer to the franchise. It has not much to do with astrology. I wouldn't know too much about astrology. And I'm not really that interested in bangable astrology signs. What mythology did zodiac signs come from? Again? What, isn't it Chinese? Wait. Aren't zodiacs? Or is that the Chinese zodiacs? Hold up. Which zodiacs are we talking about here? Greek zodiacs. Okay. Okay, I feel like this is just me, but I feel like we've had way too many games focusing on Greek mythology, and I'm saying that as a Hades enjoyer. Too many games focusing on Greek mythology. Overdone, overplayed. I'm done with it as a Hades enjoyer. It is not Greek mythology, technically. Chinese zodiac, Western zodiac are two different things. Now you're thinking of the food service game. Going into lore as how the constellations making up the Western zodiac came to be. No one would see characters based on Libra or Capricorn. Aside from that, a lot of the other games, the Ace Attorney one doesn't interest me too much. I feel like it'll be more challenging than it initially lets on. There's ways that this could not land with people if it's not done right or smartly. If it's not done smartly. But that's mainly my gripe with detective Ace Attorney type games, because they're not smart to begin with. They're just excuses to say objection. They're just excuses to have silly dialogue in a courtroom setting, but they're not really about detectiving. Semi-idle game doesn't seem to be my jam either. It's just an idle game. I don't know, man. The theme is cosmic deities building a new world, like flora and fauna and stuff, all treated as some sort of office job. Ooh, okay, now that got me peaked. Office job, you say? Wait a minute. Office drama? Wait a minute. There's a bit like an office comedy with a fantastic twist. Now you got me thinking. For the office job is creating a planet. Okay. Okay, now you have my interest. An office drama, you say? That's more interesting than just dating sim with romantic zodiac signs. You should have led with the office drama, bitch. With the office comedy, bitch. That hooked me more. Fairy Tail has zodiacs to fuck. A lot of anime enjoyers love complaining, why isn't there an anime or manga where adults are the main characters that have adult jobs, adult lives, adult problems? Why do all of these popular anime only star teenagers going on proms and cons and road trips? Motherfucker, you're playing a game / watching an anime whose target demographic is young boys and girls. That's your fault, but they do exist. Office animes do exist. Shout out Agretsuko. Adult animes do exist. Shout out Crazy Taxi. Zodiacs are based on star signs and they're 12 for around each month. They each represent different traits one could have if they're born in the time frame. For example, you were born around Scorpio. I was born in January. I am an Aquarius. Astrology girlies, what does that mean? Astrology girlies, what does being an Aquarius mean? Is my moon in Gatorade? What flavor of Gatorade is my moon in? There's technically 13 zodiacs. Oh, I also knew that somehow. Where did I learn that there was 13 zodiacs? It was from some anime. I know it. It was some anime where they used the 13th zodiac as some sort of plot reveal or some shit. I forgot where I got it, but I got it there. You're Aries? Aquarius is creative, mysterious, a weirdo. No, it just sounds like you're describing me. It's an air sign, despite the constellation being a water carrier. How does that make... I won't question it. I dare not question Greek mythologies, which is technically not Greek mythologies, which is also technically Chinese, which is technically... Look, man, astrology. Astrology! You're Capricorn, an earth sign. Anyway. So yeah, the ones that pique my interest the most. The first... Now that we've established that Zodiac Thirst is part office comedy, that has my medium interest. Ace Attorney game, low interest. Idol game, low interest. Choose your own adventure game, too many of that, low interest. Visual novel catered on serving food and drinks to people, personally, medium interest. If you make it about clussies, high interest, but that doesn't really have high marketability, so nah. That's probably not gonna work out in the long run. Narrative game where you're a neighbor in a cute little village with a dark twist, very high interest. Game where you downloaded the latest late capitalism software, high interest. However, I feel like it would be aping too much of Needy Streamer Overdose, and it might be too on the nose with the late capitalism type of shit. I'm all for my agitated propaganda, but it might be a bit too on the nose. Also, it might get too many comparisons to Needy Streamer Overdose. Final pick for you, Zodiac Thirst and Barista Bartender game. You hope a AA type game gets love? I'm playing a AA game right now. Christ was born on December 25th? Has that been established or is that just fan fiction? Look, man. My parents are theologians with PhDs in theology, and I'm the black sheep. So, I don't know. Guys, were any of your friends raptured on the 23rd? What happened with the rapture? I wasn't sucked up. I had to make sure that I had to stream this weekend, so on the way up, I had to do something unthinkable. Unspeakables. I was sent back down. You know that rapture shit is completely online brain rot, because when I told my parents about the rapture on the 23rd, they absolutely had no idea any of this was happening, and they have fucking PhDs in theology. Nobody was raptured? You sure about that? You sure about that? Then again, nobody remembers the Yogg. Nobody is raptured. All the war criminals are still on Earth. Duh. Why would they be raptured? Why are we still here? Because we're monster fuckers, obviously. Of course we wouldn't get raptured. We had to catch the next Monster Prom game. We can't get raptured! Monster Prom 5 is coming out! Rapture was totally real, we just got rejected. Your creative process is almost always looking at games we find good or we like, and wonder how we can make our own twist to it. More Nezlord just dropped? I think I've mentioned that a couple times. Anyway, I think that was a productive little stream on the current going ins and outs of the Monster Prom franchise, what may be in the future for Beautiful Glitch as a whole. As far as Monster Prom 5 goes, it will not go into full production until probably October next year. We're gonna take a break for a bit after a bit more development on some DLCs, not big ones for Con, and then we're gonna wait like 2 whole years for Monster Prom 5. Snowball fights, a shit ton of returning characters. My one ask for Monster Prom 5 is that Mamimi becomes a fully romanceable plotline character. That's my one ask. Mamimi, and also maybe the return of Feel the Eel. There are over 80 characters that we want to recruit. I want Feel the Eel back. Soon you'll post a bit more about these and offer a bit of art with each one. Can't wait. Thanks for showing up. Anyway, that'll be that for our short discussion on the huge news with update number 52nd for the Monster Prom franchise. Thank you to everyone that stopped by, chilled out, used this as a second monitor content, and join in the discussion. But we will be peacing out on Wednesday. It'll only be Arc Knight's rerun season, so we're not doing anything. Next Saturday, we're continuing our story reading of episode 15 of Arcanaitsu. It's getting really wild, can't wait. Next Sunday, we will be back with more MonsterCon gameplay. But once again, my name is Nez and thanks for watching. I'm gonna be peacing out. See you friendos next time. Bye-bye.